One. And hello to our viewers, if anybody is out watching on the internet. So we should now be live over on YouTube, and we should also be live, all being well, over on the Motion and Heart Facebook page. So if you've tuned in to watch the interview, I'd just like to give a great big thank you to Frank Faber. I hope I've got that right. Who's going to give himself an introduction to who he is and where he is. So this week I've been on time zones, mainly in America, that are 8 hours behind us. And tonight I'm with a guy that's 1 hour in front of me. So hi Frank, would you like to give an introduction to where you are and who you are?
Hi, my name is Frank Faber. I'm 60 years old and I live in Netherlands, in Zoetermeer. That's a satellite city of The Hague, where I was born. I'm for almost 33 years happily married with Elise, and our son, Vincent, will turn 31 next week. He has got a girlfriend, but we don't have grandchildren yet, but it could come, perhaps. We don't know. And I work at the Central Bureau of Genealogy that's involved with family research. But in about 6 years I may retire after 40 years now still working. I have some interesting hobbies. I am collecting radios, as you can see, perhaps. I have almost 100 radios in my collection. And I also am fond of old trams, streetcars. It's also a hobby of mine. And I created a website about the British TV series The Avengers, from the TV series from the 60s. You perhaps know John Steed, Emma Peel. I created a website about it. And so far, I became an OMD fan almost 40 years ago when Maid of Orleans was a #1 hit in the Netherlands. I already lived on my own, and I went to the record shop to buy Architecture and Morality. That was my first OMD album on vinyl. It took me 2 years or 3 years before I discovered OMD made more albums. I was watching a television show and I saw Talking Loud and Clear. And I thought, hey, OMD made more. So I went to a shop and bought the other records. And that was the start of the beginning to be a fan of OMD. My wife also likes OMD. And my first gig I had, that was in 2010, together with my sister Sylvia. It was funny, we stood in the front, in Amsterdam was it, in Paradiso. It was during the History of Modern tour. And my sister was taking photographs. And Andy noticed it and he asked us, hey, you're making photos. And he asked me, are you married? I said, no, she's my sister. Ah, he replied, your sister. That was very funny. And we also went to a gig in Hamburg. That was for the English Electric Tour. And the next day, we went home. We were waiting on the platform for our train to go home. And just in front of us in a row, there were walking the complete band. But we were too astonished to say anything. It was a complete surprise for us. But we didn't say. But yeah, otherwise I thought they have rest of their privacy, so I don't want to disturb them. No, I don't like that. We also were in 2017 in Tilburg. That was for the tour of a luxury tour, the Punishment of Luxury tour. And then we had VIP tickets, so we met the band, made photos. It was an amazing time we had, yes, good memories. We also went in Liverpool. That was in 2014, in the Dazzle Ships weekend. And we had also VIP tickets, and we had gone into a Dazzle ship where we could see the missing parts of Dazzle ships for the first time. Pardon, we could hear it, of course, not see. And that was amazing. It was a very good experience. Good memories. And did I told I created? Yeah, I told I created the website. And that was it so far.
So that's a fantastic passage that you had there. So with the albums that you've had over the years, do you have a favourite album?
Oh yes, I have several favorite albums, but it depends a bit on my mood, which one it is. But my favorite album is Dazzle Ships, Architecture of Reality. I'm also fond of The Punishment. I think it's a fantastic album. Every track on it, I like it. And I like also Sugar Text is also one of my favorites. But it's funny, the first time I heard it, I was a bit disappointed. I thought it is not really OMD. But when I listened to it over and over, I started to appreciate it more and more. And now it's one of my favorites. How strange, how many tastes can change in years.
So I will tell you a story about the Paradiso in Amsterdam. So on the Sugar Tax tour, I drove from England to Amsterdam, and we went to the Paradiso, which is a very small, it's almost like a church venue. It's a very, very small venue.
Yes.
And I believe it's the only time OMD have ever played Maid of Orleans twice. But the most funny thing was there was some gentlemen really dancing and smoking some weed, some pot. And they were bouncing up and down. They were really going. And then one Dutch gentleman said, "Where's Paul?" And they hadn't realised it was a different lineup. And I will always remember that. And that was at the Paradiso. So coming on to OMD singles, so you've got all them fantastic vintage radios. I'm guessing Radio Waves might be one of your favourite singles.
Hey, oh, I like radio waves, but not because I'm collecting radios. It's good. It had to be brought out as a single, but unlucky. There were only 2 singles from Dazzle Ships. That's a bit a pity. But I like the singles very much. And I went to several OMD gigs, but never played Telegraph live. That's a pity. Telegraph is also one of my favorites.
Well, the tour that the OMD are going to be doing in the autumn, let's keep our fingers crossed that Telegraph might appear on that. Yeah, never say never. So, Frank, I normally keep these little interviews sort of about 10 minutes, quite short. And I try to include something non-OMD, something maybe a little bit unusual. So when you came to Liverpool, was that the very first time you've been to Liverpool, or have you been before?
No, it was the very first time. It was, of course, I was together with Elise, my wife, and it was an amazing time. We were two days there, and we went by plane. But traveling by plane, I don't like it so much because I since 12 years, 12 years, I have got a hip prothese. And when I have to check in Schiphol in any airport, all the alarms ring, and I have such a large metal pin inside my leg because that's my hip prothese. And that's not very nice. All the alarm bells are ringing, and I was searching if I was a heavy criminal.
Yeah. Hello, a quick hello to Darius, who's mentioning Telegraph. So thanks, Darius. So when you were in Liverpool, could you understand the accent, the Liverpool Scouse accent. Could you understand it?
Yes, I had no trouble to understand it. No. And of course, I went to Liverpool also to Matthew Street, of course. I'm also a big Beatle fan, and we saw lots of the Beatles, and we saw Eric's, but I don't know if it was original Eric's, but it was Eric's stood on the door. Yes, but we didn't went inside. We didn't go inside.
Yeah, so it is sort of part of the original Eric's down the bottom of Matthew Street. So yeah, so quick hello to Jackie, says she loves Telegraph, and hello to Jack Kelly, who says hello as well. So as I say, I normally keep these at 10 minutes, and we're just over 10 minutes. So Frank, I just want to give a massive big thank you for joining us tonight. It's been great to see you. Your Facebook post with the track, because you're always posting them up. They're really interesting to see. And Frank, for joining us.
You're welcome. Yes, and good evening to all my watching fans.
Okay, guys that are watching, get your name in. I've got a very busy couple of weeks ahead, but if you want to come on here and be interviewed, let me know. You know how to do that, I'm sure. And we'll catch you all soon on the next one. Good night, everybody, and see you soon.
Yes.
Stay safe.
Good. Yes, of course.